What's up, guys? Welcome back to Michigan Muckraker. My name's Michelle. Today is April 25th of 2023, and today I wanted to share with you a few key pieces of information that did not get in my deep dive video on the downtown Newaygo recycling plant that's coming this year, from what it looks like. So I'm going to jump right in, show you these articles that I found. Clean Vision announces fully executed agreements pursuant to $20 million Michigan Pyrolysis joint venture project. By the way, thank you to everyone who's joining me. If you like this kind of content, please smash that like button and subscribe, because I go over Michigan news and Industry 4.0 here on this channel. So, Clean Vision Corporation, an emerging leader in sustainable clean technology and green energy sectors, is excited to announce that its wholly owned subsidiary, Clean Seas, has entered into feedstock and site lease agreements pursuant to its previously announced $20 million joint venture project in western Michigan in partnership with the Newaygo Recycle Center LLC, owned by American Classic, creating Clean Seas Newaygo, also known as CSN. CSN expects to eventually divert up to 500 tons per day of waste plastic from landfill and or incineration. 500 tons going to downtown Newaygo. Phase 1 of the project is currently budgeted at $20 million, with currently anticipated funding from debt and equity. Co-locating a Clean Seas plastic conversion network facility with partners who are already sorting plastic adds great value to both operations, said Chris Galazzi, CSN's president. The synergies here are potent. It's a win for both partners, the local economy, and the environment. Is it though? Is it a win for the people downtown? It's going to have 500 tons per day of waste plastic coming through, and you will be surprised, or maybe not, since the rail is right there. It is going to be coming from the rail. So under the terms of the joint venture agreement, CSN will co-locate American Classic's recently acquired 313 West State Road, which is that big facility. That's on the thumbnail of this video. So the parties will work collectively to secure additional permits and approvals. Clean Seas will use its relationships and expertise to secure capital and technology to establish the facility, which is expected to begin operations in late 2023 or early 2024. Once established, operations are expected to begin in American Classic's 45,000 square foot facility, which sits adjacent to a rail line, for easy offloading of waste plastic and pickup of CSN converted commodity products. So the rail systems that are deteriorating, that's what we're going to bring all the plastic that goes alongside the Muskegon River. I don't know, man. Seems like it's kind of crazy to me. The next thing I wanted to share was this article that will explain why fires are happening so frequently in these recycling plants. This is out of Time magazine, and the date is April 13th of this year. A huge plume of smoke, visible from miles around, continues to billow over a plastics recycling plant in the city of Richmond, Indiana, where a fire broke out Tuesday afternoon. Some 2,000 people living within half a mile of the facility were forced to evacuate to escape harmful fine particulate matter and potentially toxic chemicals in the air, and building debris falling on their lawns. Once lit, plastic fires are incredibly tough to put out, and officials say the plant will burn for several more days. As recycling plant fires go, the Richmond blaze is particularly dramatic, but it's far from an isolated incident. At least 2 similar fires broke out the same day, one at a paper recycler in New Jersey and another at an auto recycler in Canada. Last week, a fire destroyed a recycling center in Hernando County, Florida. The week before, it was a plant in Fort Myers. The list goes on and on. This is the danger we're bringing to beautiful downtown Newaygo. And it's such a cute little town. I love Newaygo. And they have a great bookstore. Check it out. Recycling, Flying Bear books. Recycling fires are increasingly common in North America. the number of major fires reported at plants in the US and Canada has increased by more than a third since 2017, hitting 390 in 2022. By the end of March this year, 75 more had taken place. Those figures come from Ryan Fogelman, an entrepreneur who works with fire prevention company Fire Rover and began tracking media coverage of recycling fires in 2016, in the absence of official data. With smaller fires going unreported, he estimates that the real number is closer to 2,400 fires. The blazes killed 3 people and injured 63 last year. They also released toxic fumes, increased the risk of wildfires, and caused millions of dollars in damage for a sector under pressure to scale up as a part of cities' green goals. You know, you would think that these green goals, all of the byproducts, all the things that happen that are actually the opposite of green, fires, toxic plumes, trash everywhere, right next to our river. Perhaps we're pushing too hard, and we got to ask ourselves why. Why are they pushing so hard when it's really not helping the environment? Now, obviously, we do need to do something about our plastic, but this is going to help create more plastic. This recycling center, this chemical recycling center. Experts say the recycling industry is facing a cocktail of factors that increase the risk of fires, from growing number of new plants opening to deal with the growing demand, to major new hazards in the products people recycle, to global shifts in the management of waste. On top of that, hotter, drier climate. Recycling has always had some fire risk. In the US, the practice pre-purposing waste rather than burying it began to take off in the late 20th century, with the volume of recycled waste growing 12-fold from 1960 to 2018 per the EPA. Wow. Ever since then, plant operators, a mix of government agencies and private contractors, have had to deal with a wide range of flammable substances like aerosols, paint, fuel canisters, and ashes. While those things are meant to go to special facilities, waste management experts say they are often dumped in with paper and plastic recycling by the public. They also arrive hidden in debris from construction sites and damaged cars sent by industrial recycling customers. But over the last 5 years, this is the key point right here, an explosion in the number of products containing rechargeable lithium-ion batteries, such as vapes, AirPods, cell phones, and smartwatches, has turbocharged the problem. I mean, not to mention car batteries. What are we doing with them? They get a scratch, they're done. They're toast. When damaged in the transport of crushing of waste, these batteries can begin to release the energy they found contained and self-ignite, potentially setting fire to the materials around them. A 2018 survey by the California Product Stewardship Council found that 40% of fires at the state's waste management facilities are triggered by lithium-ion batteries. That is a product of the circular economy, which we're going to get into. The challenge is not just growing number of batteries being thrown away. Where a safe recycling campaign group Call to Recycle estimates that 58 million pounds of lithium-ion batteries reached the end of their usable life in 2020. Holy cow. What are we going to do with all those batteries? It's also the increased difficulty of filtering out these tiny combustibles. In the old days, you would have these traditional hazards like propane tank that a human being could spot and pull out before it got into your shredders. Now, even some greeting cards contain batteries. Even a sophisticated robotic arm is going to identify that as a piece of paper. It doesn't know it's metal. Which, right now, I think it says there's only 10 jobs coming to this Newaygo plant. By the way, they said max of 60. But with sophisticated robotic arms that are obviously already in this industry, I don't know if there will be 60 jobs, but this jobs should not matter. This is 500 tons of trash a day coming to downtown Newaygo. There are other aggravating factors beyond the batteries. Plant managers say they are struggling to shift large stockpiles of plastic waste. The main market for recycling U.S. plastics used to be China, so there's another huge thing. But in 2018, after public backlash over the impact of millions of bales of contaminated waste on Chinese communities and the environment, the government enacted a ban on plastic waste imports. While many large cities, U.S. cities, have managed to find domestic markets for plastic, small towns have struggled, leading to a buildup of plastic products at plants. And because plastic is made from oil and natural gas, the buildup provides plenty of long-burning fuel for battery fires. Seems the initial fallout from China's policy may have contributed to a spike in the fires in 2018, while it appears reduced recycling activity during COVID lockdowns may have limited the numbers in 2020. Something to consider. So that was the main point, the lithium-ion fire batteries, and China, I think, was mentioned in my deep dive, which I'll have linked below if you have not checked that out yet. Now, I'm not going to go over this one. The only thing I wanted to point out here is this quote. American Classic is poised to become a recycling center in the West Michigan region. Lola Harmon Ramsey, Director of Advocacy and Community Engagement at American Classic, says in a statement provided to local media. With new solid waste management laws coming into effect at the state level, we are excited to help our local cities and county leadership teams expand their recycling services within their rural communities. A circular economy isn't just good for the environment, but also creates jobs and economic development opportunities. So, circular economy, what is it? We're going to get into an article, but I wanted to just go to the worldeconomicforum.org and show you right here in their main menu, circular economy. So this is their idea. This is something they're promoting, and they're using the youth to do it. The youth are driving the circular economy transition across the world. But why is the circular economy bad? Circular economy is key to tackling global crisis, World Economic Future Champions dialogues. With economies, food systems, and governments in disarray, the World Economic Forum touts the circular economy as an opportunity for sustainable recovery. But through its products as a service business model, the circular economy is the main driving force behind the unelected globalists' "you'll own nothing and you'll be happy" agenda, whereby corporations retain ownership of their products while renting out their benefits as a service. Thus, the circular economy is destined to create a two-tiered class system of owners and renters. This is what's happening. This is what's coming. This guy says it.
I would like products to come back to me as the original designer and manufacturer. And once you get your head around that notion, why would I actually sell you the product if you are primarily interested in the benefit of the product? And maybe I can stay the owner of the product and just sell you the benefit as a service. If you carefully look around us and we look at other companies, there are plenty of examples where circular economy thinking is applied. Aircraft engines are often made by Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce has a business model where they stay the owner of the engine and make sure that they sell aircraft flying hours. I would love this to become further ingrained, and not only for B2B business models, but also for B2C business models.
They just tell you. They just tell you that they don't want you to own anything. They want to keep it for themselves. You rent it. That is a lot of power for these CEOs, don't you think? As Royal Philips Electronics CEO Franz von Houten explained to the World Economic Forum in 2016, in circular economy business models, I would like products to come back to me as original designer and manufacturer. Maybe I could stay the owner of the product. Yes, that's what he just said. Okay. And the products, like the people who rent them, will also require a digital ID to monitor their use and consumption along the entirety of their life cycles. This is all Industry 4.0, guys. This is Fourth Industrial Revolution. This week, the World Economic Forum resumed its new champions dialogues after a 2-year hiatus in which the circular economy was once again touted, this time as a solution to averting a worldwide food crisis that they themselves have created by saying cows fart too much and that they're bad for the environment. A cow. Life. That's what they're saying. Life is bad for the environment. These are anti-human agendas, okay? We need to wrap our mind around this. Speaking to the World Economic Forum on July 19, 2022, Fernanda Lopez Larson, Executive VP for African and Asian at Yara International, said that the circular economy was key to the environmentally friendly food sustainability. Focusing on environment is absolutely key because we need to produce food not at the expense of the environment. she said, adding that model doesn't work anymore. It has to change. So circular economy is key. Around 1/3 of all the food that is produced around the world is wasted. We have to look into collaborating more globally on projects that help create this closed loop food chain. I think the circular economy is a key for our future, and also sustainable agriculture is so important. Today, we pay farmers for what they produce, but we don't pay farmers for how they are producing food. If we start enhancing their incomes and rewarding them for not only planting food, but planting food in the right way, using regenerative agricultural practices that can help the soil health and help actually decarbonization, that will be even better. If we start enhancing farmers' incomes and rewarding them for not only planting food, okay, so yes, rewarding certain behaviors while punishing others is a hallmark of the Chinese Communist Party's social credit system. That's what they're saying. They know what's right, not the farmers that have been farming for 200 plus years over in the Netherlands and those Dutch farmers. No, they don't know what they're doing. These globalists that nobody voted for, that nobody asked their opinion, they know, and they're going to tell you how to do it, and they're going to reward you carrot and stick. And so the circular economy, whenever you see it, I hope that you understand that although it sounds good, it's not good. It all comes from an anti-human perspective where waste is terrible, but we humans have waste, and everything has waste. It's a natural part. Now we have to figure out how we can clean up the earth, absolutely. But the way that these people want to do it, with a Newaygo recycling center right on Muskegon River, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way we should be doing it, and who are they to come and tell us that it is? Speaking at the World Economic Forum annual meeting in Davos earlier this year, Alibaba president, that's the one, Alibaba is how you get all the cheap Chinese junk that's on Amazon. It's like 50 cents or less to create it, and then you pay $10 for it. That's Alibaba. Alibaba President J. Michael Evans said that his company was working on an individual carbon footprint tracker to measure all consumption habits on the platform so that people will be incentivized to do the right thing, even if they were provided with the opportunity to decide to do the wrong thing. So instead of Alibaba stop offering cheap plastic junk to people so that they could sell it here, no, it's you have the opportunity, but we're gonna shame you into not doing that. It's just crazy. If you don't want plastic, stop making plastic. Individual carbon footprint tracker, stay tuned. World Economic Forum 2022. Let's see, this...
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's, where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on. We're developing.
They tell you, if you pay attention, they have this metaverse, basically the Matrix. They want to put you in the Matrix, plug you in. It's a crazy idea, but it's not my idea. I'm just observing and reporting what they are talking about and trying to put it all together in a way that makes sense. At 1 billion consumers, we're developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. Yep. And you know, consumers' energy is one of the worst power companies in the United States. They won't let you get an analog meter. You have to have a smart meter, period. And of course, they're a monopoly, and so they are going full on with this green energy crap. And talking about credits, I'll do that in another video, but the credit system, it basically rewards rich people. It's a big battle we're fighting, guys. But we're not alone. There are people that know what's going on, and they're helping us with this article right here, synthesizing the information. What does it mean, he went on to say? Yes, track and trace technologies such as digital ID and online passports for people and products are essential to monitoring and enforcing circular economy policies. Last year, the World Economic Forum highlighted one startup was creating online digital IDs for garments so that brands could maintain ownership and resell their clothing. The Circular ID, which is part of the Internet of Bodies ecosystem, which so are electric vehicles, allows brands to track and trace their products while monitoring their performance over their entire life cycle. The unelected globalists at the World Economic Forum and World Trade Organization are pushing the same type of digital ID system to track and trace people all over their own personal life cycles. Data is the #1 commodity in the world. Your data. And they sell it all the time. They make tons of money off your data. You and I don't. We don't. They're obviously selling my data too. I'm included in that. Any package, pallet, or container can now be equipped with a sensor, transmitter, or radio frequency identification tag that allows a company to track where it is as it moves through the supply chain, how it is performing, how it is being used, and so on. In the near future, similar monitoring systems will also be applied to the movement and tracking of people. Klaus Schwab, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, 2017. So again, when they push these electric vehicles, it's not about green energy. It's not about clean energy. It's not about anything but power over you and I. Earlier this year, the World Economic Forum and WTO published a joint report calling for global digital identity of persons and objects. And to end trade, digitalization requires a global approach to digital identification of natural and legal persons as well as physical and digital objects. So, as you could see, I think despite the loss of freedom and ownership to the product as a service business model, promises to bring unelected globalists are still pushing circular economy solutions for just about any given crisis, be it climate, food, or the economy. All the crises they have created. They've created it by locking us down. It wasn't COVID that locked us down. It was the governments around the world. According to a recent WEF Agenda blog post, the author suggests that a circular economy could help tackle Sri Lanka's economy crisis, whereby a smaller number of asset owners will take custodianship of assets to keep them in use and provide services to many users based on consumption. What's crazy is that Sri Lanka did what they wanted, and they had a ESG score of like 98, and their economy collapsed because of it, because this green energy is a sham, and it's going to set us back, not bring us anywhere where we want to be. It's going to make us beg for help from these governments. That's what they want. They want us to be begging for help. So that means we need to be self-reliant so that we don't have to beg for help from these globalists. All roads in the unelected globalist playbook lead to systems of social credit via digital ID. And this, China is in this area, obviously, with Goshen, and they are involved with the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum loves state capitalism. That's what they have over in China. Stakeholder capitalism and state capitalism, pretty much the same. So when you hear stakeholder capitalism, think of Chinese government. In March 2022, Schwab told the World Government Summit exactly what was going to happen in the coming months with prophetic accuracy. History is truly at a turning point, he said, adding, "We do not yet know the full extent and the systemic and structural changes which will happen. However, we do know that global energy systems, food systems, and supply chains will be deeply affected. In order to shape the future, you have first to imagine the future, you have to design the future, and then you have to execute it." Klaus Schwab, The Great Narrative Meeting in 2021. Speaking at the Great Narrative Meeting in Dubai in November of 2021, he said what I just read. Wow, okay. The technocratic future that unelected and unaccountable globalists are looking to shape, design, and execute is one of complete control over society. The circular economy promises to bolster sustainability by abandoning the linear value model of take, make, and waste, and adapting a circular model of take, make, take, make. Emphasizing sustainability, recycling, and renewability sounds great on the surface, but billowing below the circular economy is the you'll own nothing and be happy business model that would have us all tagged, tracked, traced, and controlled like cattle throughout our entire lifespan. I don't know what you think about that, but I'm not down. I like having a product, which is why, again, I'll never own an electric vehicle, because that's a service, that's not a product. Now, one more thing I'm going to show you here at the end. This is the rail system here in Michigan right now. And this will be the rail system used because Newaygo is right there. And so MQT is, where's that? Marquette Rail, which is owned by Genesee and Wyoming. And I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but I'm assuming it's Genesee. Genesee is a partner of the MEDC, in case you didn't know. And that rail system is what's going to bring in 500 tons of trash a day to Newaygo. One more thing to show you. This is America 2050. This is the map of the high-speed rail system that they want in place by 2050. And it's kind of weird how it goes right through where East Palestine is, in my opinion. And look at that. But up here, this is all going to be wilderness if they get their way. Just so you know, we are all going to be in these smart cities. And again, I'm not for it. I know that you're probably not for it either. You're probably a freedom lover just like I am. That's why you're here listening to me. So the circular economy is what they're boasting for this recycling facility plant downtown Newaygo. If you're against this plant, please let me know down in the comments below. If you're for it, let me know in the comments. I mean, if you're for it after all this information, that is totally your right. I just want informed consent. That's all I ask. Think for yourself always. Never outsource your thinking. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I am hopefully tomorrow going to get to my dam story that I've been working on for quite some time. And if you haven't heard, the 13 dams that Consumers Energy owns, they're thinking about shutting them down. And I'm going to explain the real reason why, because it has nothing to do with money. Thank you again for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comments, and I hope to see you in the video tomorrow.